Are you ready for some scary movies?
I'm ready.
Well, we've got 5 of them for you this week. 5 movies and 5 shorts.
And some were scary and some were funny, and we've got an eclectic mix today.
Now, who the heck are you?
I'm Kevin.
I'm Brian, and we're the horror guys.
We're the horror guys. Yay!
Getting a little ahead of ourselves today.
Yeah, we forgot to introduce ourselves.
Yeah. So, we are from horrorweekly.com and horrorguys.com, 2 of the greatest horror sites in the universe.
That's right. Prove us otherwise.
Award-winning, says us.
Yeah. We had our own private award ceremony just the other day.
And we won!
Yay!
Amazing!
Yay us!
The Academy Awards are coming up soon.
Uh-huh.
I heard they delayed the nominations.
Why?
I don't know.
Because of the LA fires?
Yeah, probably that was it, yeah.
Yeah. Letting people catch up on stuff.
Yeah. I think Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey is going to be nominated a couple of times.
Okay.
The second one, not the first one.
Okay.
Well, we'll see about that.
And there's words to say about that too, because we're The Mousetrap is one of our films.
Yeah.
Another one of those that fell out of copyright, and so they've made a horror movie out of it.
Along with Peter Pan.
That's coming up.
And
Popeye is coming up.
Yeah, we're getting all the good stuff this year.
Well, we're going to start out with a Korean ghost curse tale that's Exhuma, and follow up that with another ghostly one, Chateau. And then we're going to get away from the ghosts and meet a serial killer in the Mousetrap. And there's a hashtag AMFD. All my friends are dead. And then we're going to go retro and see what the Y2K bug was really like. I remember it was just like this. It was just like this movie.
I don't remember it being quite like this.
Yeah, this really happened. Yeah, it's a documentary. And then we got a bunch of shorts for you, too.
We do.
Yeah.
Well, where are we going to start?
Oh, we should start out with Exhuma.
You liked this one.
I did. It was cool.
Written and directed by Jang Jae-hoon, stars Choi Min-sik, Kim Go-yoon, and Lee Do-hyun. 2 hours and 14 minutes of subtitled goodness.
Holy cow.
That's a lot of reading.
It was a lot of reading, but I thought it was worth it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, spoiler-free, it's long, but it didn't seem like it. Actually, it did kind of seem like it, but I didn't get bored.
No, not at all.
At several points, it seemed like things were going to wrap up. Like, oh yeah, problem solved, it's done.
Oh yeah, they're done, and then something else happens.
Yeah, it doesn't end easily.
Yeah.
It's set in a world where everyone, at least everyone in the movie, just accepts that the rituals, ghosts, demons, and so forth are real. Oh, maybe that's what Korean countryside is like. It very well could be.
I don't think to this degree. It almost seemed like an alternate timeline.
Everyone believes.
And this stuff is real, too.
Well, yeah, it is real.
It is real, and everybody just knows this and accepts it.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I don't think the real world is like that. I mean, there are superstitions and beliefs and rituals and so forth, but this was extreme.
Main characters are supernatural kind of experts, so yeah, they would believe.
Yeah, and it's just accepted that this is their job. This is what they do. They're specialists. Yeah.
Well, anyway, we're pulled along with them easily as all this stuff happens, and we both liked it quite a bit.
Yeah, I thought it was cool.
Yeah, well, all right. Well, give us a taste. What's it about?
Well, Lee and her male colleague arrive in America to talk to an extremely rich real estate investor. They stop at the hospital, and she whistles at a baby. The baby was born with some kind of illness, and these two have come to do a Korean folk remedy to cure the child. She says the baby's father and grandfather probably suffer from the same affliction. And Lee explains that she's a shaman. Park, her client, explains the family situation. His brother killed himself, and she senses that the shadow of Park's grandfather is hanging around the estate. One of his ancestors is complaining about the discomfort he's experiencing in the grave.
Yeah, you got to keep those coffins, clutter-free.
Mm-hmm. So Lee is the primary shaman here, and the guy traveling with her is kind of an assistant shaman, understudy. He's working.
He's learning.
Yeah. He's got the mojo too, but not as much as she does. Well, they dig up the recently deceased grandmother's coffin. It's still dry, and the bones look fine. There are some metal objects inside that cause discomfort for the dead. and they lay out the skeleton on a white cloth. And the older man says she's missing her dentures. Who has them? Well, one of the boys confesses that he took them, which is kind of a strange souvenir of Grandma, but yeah, this is what he wanted, something to remember her by. Well, the old man who's there, Kim, explains that he's a geomancer, a feng shui expert. So another magician of sorts who's going to team up with Lee and her assistant.
At this point, after the ceremony, I was expecting them both to laugh and go out for drinks and joke about how stupid these people are.
No,
no,
genuine.
They're all for real. These guys take it seriously.
Yeah, and they do get together at one scene, and drink and laugh and hang out, but they're serious about their magic.
But they talk about their supernatural experiences and all this stuff, and they're real.
Yeah, it's very serious. They're not con artists, and all this stuff is really happening. Yeah. Well, Mr. Park wants to dig up his grandfather's grave, as it's been nearly 100 years, but he doesn't want the coffin opened before the cremation, and Kim doesn't think that's a good idea. Well, the whole group drives up the mountain, walks through the woods to a kind of weird unmarked grave site, and there are foxes everywhere, which is kind of...
Not a good sign.
That's an omen, too. Well, Kim tastes the dirt. Yeah, he keeps doing this at multiple points because he's a geomancer, and he'll look at the dirt and, get a reading from it, which is just nasty. Yeah. Well, and looks out it's a really scenic area, a beautiful mountaintop. The site was recommended by a famous monk of the time. Kim quits and walks away. He wants nothing to do with this. He says there's just too much bad mojo. And this is a grave that shouldn't be meddled with. If we mess with a grave like this, everyone from the geomancer on down to the laborers is going to die one by one.
Spoiler, they mess with the grave.
Yeah.
All right, that's probably a good stopping point.
And things happen.
Yeah.
And then they kind of wrap up, and then things more happen, and then another...
Yeah, element. The grandfather causes them some trouble, and then they fix the grandfather, but wait, there's more.
There's more complicated than that, yeah.
Well, who knew? Korean folk rituals are even weirder than ours.
Yeah.
And also, who knew feng shui was more than choosing the right style of furniture?
It's a whole religion. Yeah.
The interesting thing about this one is the supposedly authentic Korean rituals that accompany the plot. None of the characters ever doubt that the ghosts are real, which speeds along the plot, and that's a short film.
Yeah, they don't have
Could
to
you imagine how long
anybody.
this would be if half the people didn't believe in it?
Mm-hmm.
Well, due to the weird alienness of the plot, we had no idea what was going to happen next, which was fun. We like to be surprised.
Mm-hmm.
It looked like it was wrapping up at least 3 different times, but no, it just kept on piling new troubles. It's really long, but it's got lots of interesting bits.
Yeah, I was surprised by how complex and multi-layered it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One damn thing after another.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
All right. And if you like ghosts, we've got Chateau next, 2024. Written and directed by Luke Genton. Stars Kathy Marks, Colton Tran, and Rachel Elig. Hour and 23 minutes. Spoiler-free, what happens?
Well, it's an influencer found footage kind of movie. Takes a little bit of time to get to the horror, but once it does, it's okay. The ghost story is in an ancient place, and it's mixed with modern technology, which I thought was interesting. The setting is great. It's not a bad story, but there weren't a lot of surprises, I didn't think.
It's a middle-of-the-road ghost story movie.
Yeah, it was good.
It's well done.
Great setting. Nice cast. I mean, yeah.
It's all right.
It was fine.
It's fine.
Yeah. I mean, I enjoyed it, but, nothing, super surprising.
We were not blown away, but we were not bored
We were
or
not
annoyed.
displeased.
Yes.
Yeah, we were entertained. Yeah.
Well, James, who's a woman, by the way, records an audition, but has too many interruptions as the credits roll. Her friend Lila calls about the funeral, hoping that James would have come, but she didn't. They talk about her trying to be an influencer.
Yeah, she's not big
Are you still trying to be an influencer?
Yeah, she hasn't hit it big yet, but she's working at it.
She's got like 12 followers.
Yeah.
They're sisters, and their mother just died, but James hated her mother. Well, James gets a book and goes to Paris for a few months. Gets a booking for a job.
A booking, not a book, yeah.
And goes to Paris for a few months. She lives with a guy named Dash. Her video gets 62 views, so she's not much of an influencer. Her new job is cleaning up a murder castle, which might just be her ticket to more views. Dash gives her a pointy, dangerous-looking keychain that we know we're going to see later.
That was totally Chekhov's keychain.
It's an Eiffel Tower made of, like, steel, and it's long and pointy. And
yeah, very weapon-looking.
Somebody's going to get that in their eye later. You just know it.
Yeah.
Well, we then cut to video clips from elsewhere that describe the castle. We see Vincent Price and Haunts on Haunted Hill, as well as a documentary and a true crime podcast. So they've got a kind of an interesting way of, expositing the story.
The place is haunted and has a history.
The police have never found any bodies, but everyone knows the place is haunted.
And it's very big, old place, and on a big piece of property, so it's kind of isolated.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, James goes to interview the former gardener, Fleur, and she's eager to talk. Fleur tells about her ghostly encounter with a murder victim there. She seems a little unhinged, and warns James not to become a lost soul. I kind of figured when this movie was over she was going to be behind it all or something, because she's just so weird. You expected more from her.
Yeah, she was just a red herring.
Yeah. Well, she goes into the chateau. The creepiest homeless guy ever begs for change. And the chateau, of course, is huge. It's a castle already. The woman who shows her around asks if she has any local friends or family, and she doesn't. Red flag.
Yep.
The woman mentions that there's a landline in the attic if she needs it. Well, then James stays behind and records her show and explains all her camera and all the equipment that she's using. She then goes outside and sees a treehouse and a greenhouse, and we get an idea of the size of the place. She also sees a strange shadow.
Like someone watching her.
And we'll stop there, because there's shadows and ghosts. We know this.
And her roommate shows up again.
Yeah, he comes back.
To spend a little time with her, and so
he's a prankster.
It's the two of them.
Which is another kind of thing. All right, well, we watched 40 minutes of fake YouTubers being fake and manipulative before anything actually happened.
It does take a little while to get there.
Yeah, James and Dash go to the house, and after we look around, they start faking all these ghostly encounters for the camera because they don't really believe it's real. So they fake a ghost attack, and then they fake getting chased around.
But then stuff gets real.
Yeah. I assume we're supposed to care about James, but after all the fakeness and, junk of the first little bit, it's kind of hard to like her or take her seriously.
No, she's trying. Yeah.
She was going to fake all this stuff and fool her audience. Well, there are lots of jump scares here. Some of them are actually pretty good, and some are just cheap tricks. The ending does tie everything up, although there really wasn't much in the way of a twist or a surprise. I guess there kind of was, but we saw it coming a mile away.
Because we are experienced in such things.
It didn't take much.
Yeah.
It's fine if you like ghost stories and set in the modern day. I didn't think it was anything special, but it's decent if you're into these.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
In an entertaining kind of way.
It's a ghost story.
Yeah.
Now, the one we're going to probably... Well, it's the mousetrap.
See, I'm gonna start out with a general statement of rage. All these things are coming up where the copyright is expiring, and all these people think they have to make them into these mediocre horror movies. Like, really, people, you don't have to do this.
It's low-hanging fruit that gets an audience.
It is.
People saw Pooh, Blood and Honey just because of the hype. I mean, it was a crappy movie. Nobody really liked it. I didn't think it was as bad as a lot of people thought it was, but
the second one was better, at least.
It was, yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're taking a well-known intellectual property and, doing something with it, and I can see that. It's all right.
Yeah.
Haven't seen Peter Pan yet. It looks kind of awful.
And we saw there's
two different Popeye movies.
There's two
Popeyes,
and I've seen previews, and I thought one looked kind of awful and one looked maybe pretty good.
Yeah, we'll see.
So we'll see, and I'm sure there's more coming because they feel like they have to do these.
Yeah.
I'm not pleased about this.
Directed by Jamie Bailey, written by Simon Phillips, stars Simon Phillips, Sophie McIntosh, and Madeline Kellman. Hour and 20 minutes, so at least it's short.
At least it's short, but it's unfortunately short because, boom, it stops.
Blood and Honey Pooh got a lot of crap on it. And it was cheap, and it was thrown together badly. It wasn't as bad as a lot of people said. This one, I don't know what the hell went wrong with this movie. It's just bad. People make dumb decisions. Nothing is ever explained. And it just ends like, boom, it's over.
without really feeling like it finished.
It didn't finish, yeah.
Yeah. And this is Steamboat Willie. This is not
This is
Mickey
not
Mouse. This
Mickey
is not
Mouse.
Mickey Mouse. They really play up that joke.
Although they call him Mickey. Unlike the mean one a few weeks ago where they couldn't say the Grinch, these guys actually used the phrase Mickey Mouse a couple of times.
We're not saying that,
I don't
though.
know how they did it, but okay.
Yeah.
Spoil-
Because the image of Mickey Mouse is not public domain yet, but Steamboat Willie, that Mickey Mouse originated from.
The little
it
black and
is.
white. It
The
wasn't
black and white.
silent, was it?
I think that, I'm not positive.
I'm not
if
sure
if
either.
it was.
I'm sure we could find it on YouTube at this point, but
Yeah,
yeah,
could.
the original version of Mickey Mouse has gone public domain. Mickey Mouse has not,
Yeah, Disney's managed to hang on to that for now.
although they look almost identical.
They're pretty close. Yeah.
Spoiler free.
Well, once again, something has become public domain, like we said, so they made a horror movie out of it. It's got some humor and some slasher action, and it's a masked killer with powers of teleportation, which makes them mighty hard to fight, but they do drag it out until a cut ending that's so abrupt and unfinished that it looked like a mistake. And we actually had to check. Like, that was it. Yeah, I think you appreciated it more than I did. I kind of hated it, but
I didn't like it.
Okay.
Maybe on a scale.
yeah, on a scale of dislike, I think. Yeah.
Well, we open with a Star Wars-like scroller. I like this big opening part.
That was fun. Yeah.
It opens with a Star Wars-like scroller telling us about Disney, how wonderful Disney is, and how this film has nothing to do with that at all. Nothing to do with Mickey Mouse, because that would be bad. Very bad. Oh, and this scroll is nothing like Star Wars, because that would be bad too.
Which is also Disney now.
Yeah, it's all Disney. So yeah, it comes right out and it points it out. It puts hangs a hat on it. This is not Mickey Mouse.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we cut to Detectives Cole and Marsh preparing to interview a suspect, Rebecca. She warns them that telling her story will be bad. And I expected something to happen with her at the end, and
No. Yeah, I was expecting that too, but yeah.
And credits roll as we watch the original Steamboat Willie play. No, it's not Mickey Mouse. If you haven't heard, this is not Mickey Mouse.
Yeah, they do let you know that.
Who isn't this?
It's not Mickey Mouse.
It's not Mickey Mouse. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we cut to the Fun Haven Arcade. Alex works there, and she seems like more of a babysitter than an employee. Mickey, the boss, the boss
Well,
comes
it's a
over.
guy. Yeah, named that. Yeah.
And tells her and her friend, Jaina, that they need to work late. Mickey then goes into the back room and watches Steamboat Willie on his old projector. He's even got a latex mask of the character in a display case. He hears laughing at the image as the image on the screen behaves oddly. He walks over and reaches for the mask.
So I guess it was him possessed.
Yes, it's him. It's him all along. We know
Yeah,
this, yes.
yeah.
We don't know why.
Don't
we
know
never
why.
find out why.
No.
Evil mask? Magic cartoon? He just too much into
Copyright
Steamboat
expired,
Willie?
and now he can roam the world free. Yeah, I don't know.
Possessed by the ghost of public domain.
Yeah, I guess.
So yeah, we never get any explanation as to why this happens. Jaina talks Alex into covering her late shift alone and then leaves. Not long after, she sees the mouse running around inside the arcade and runs right into 8 of her friends who have rented the arcade for Alex's birthday party.
Oh, look, victims.
Jackie, Paul, Ryan, Danny, Marcus, and Rebecca are all there, and the mouse watches from afar. We cut back and forth between all of this and Rebecca and the cops talking afterwards. Rebecca explained that not all the party guests liked each other or got along. No one likes Ryan, and Marcus has serial killer vibes. Ryan calls the hockey team in to beat up Marcus. Shortly after, everyone loses their phones.
Conveniently.
If you ever go to a party and they pass around a bag to take the phones,
Don't. Yeah.
Or start carrying a decoy phone or something.
Uh-huh.
Paul and Jackie sneak off into the back room to make out. The group decides to go to a real bar to drink, but finds that the door is chained shut, and their phones are all missing now. The fire exit is locked too, and this is what Alex saw the mouse doing earlier.
So the mouse has locked them in to this mousetrap.
We see that the mouse stands behind people and menaces various characters with a big knife. He can apparently teleport, so there's more going on here than just a slasher and a mask. All right. And then basically people do the dumbest things they can possibly do.
And various people get picked off.
At various times, the doors are unlocked and nobody goes out, and they get up on the roof of this low building and nobody jumps down, and the whole front of the arcade is glass and nobody breaks the glass. There's a landline phone and nobody calls the police.
Well, that was messed up. They did try calling out, but they couldn't.
Was it at first?
Yeah, it was.
All right.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of stupidity going on here.
Plus, the mouse can teleport. And the doors are, sealed. There's a bar where hockey people are hanging out.
Right next door, I think.
And he pops over there.
Yeah.
Kills them off. And then pops back inside the arcade.
Uh-huh.
So, he's mighty hard to fight. Which, I don't know, took something out of it, I think.
Well, when Steamboat Willie entered the public domain last year, it was only a matter of time before it got the Pooh and Popeye treatment. That's what we're going to call it now, Pooh and
Popeye treatment, yeah.
Oddly enough, they do call him Mickey and even Mickey Mouse a couple of times during the film. The working title for the film was originally Mickey's Mousetrap, but they changed it.
Too close.
Must have been, some legal action going on there. Well, why would anyone want Ryan around? He is such a jerk to everyone. And how did the mouse even know about the hockey team's plan?
I don't know, because he's smart.
The back and forth with the detectives really slows down the story. And why would Rebecca be so hostile to the cops who are just trying to figure out what happened? She's mean goth girl and hates the cops, and just she's mean and snotty and snide and snarly.
Because that was her character. Yeah.
And nothing comes of it, and it just slows down the plot.
And then apparently they ran out of ideas at the end or something.
It must have, yeah.
We're
not going to spoil the ending, but boom, it's over.
Abruptly stops, yeah.
There are no on-screen deaths until almost 50 minutes into the film. And the mouse can clearly teleport, so he's not just a guy in a mask. But it's never explained.
Yeah, he literally teleports right in front of them.
Oh, yeah, they all see it a couple of times.
Yeah.
And what happened to the ending? It just cuts off at one point. We get no real closure with the cops. We get no explanation at all. We don't get any resolution at all. Some people are alive and some people are dead. And what happened?
I was displeased.
It was mostly fine, I guess, but it needed 10 more minutes of closure.
Yeah, how did they go from the point that stopped to just Rebecca, I guess, being the only survivor? And
there were people alive at the end of the movie,
she's under arrest.
At the end, it's just her, it looks like.
We missed some things that happened there.
Yeah. There is an after-credit cutscene, or an after-credit scene, but that doesn't really add much. It's just sequel bait.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You say I liked it better than you, but that's
maybe
my 3 compared to your 2.
yeah, I think so.
On a scale of 10.
Yeah, this one didn't please me.
All right, next up is #MFAD. All My Friends Are Dead. And they added the hashtag, I believe, because there's a Russian film called All My Friends Are Dead. And I know because we started why is this film in Russian?
This isn't right. This doesn't seem like a
we were watching
movie.
the wrong one.
Yep, we
get the one with the MFAD hashtag.
Uh-huh.
Directed by Marcus Dunstan, written by Josh Sims, Jessica Sarah Flom, and John Baldecchi. Stars Jade Pettyjohn, JoJo Sims, and Jennifer Enns. Hour and 36 minutes.
So, shall I spoiler free it?
I will spoiler free it.
Okay.
The 7 deadly sins are very deadly in the setup, where we wonder who the killer is and gradually figure out why.
And the 7 deadly sins are not at all subtle.
Oh,
how
my
they set those
goodness,
up.
no.
Maybe a little bit too much beating us over the head with the 7 deadly sins. But
what are the 7 deadly sins? What is this? Look, there's 7. They're deadly and they're sins.
They make sure that we know. Yeah.
It's got some mystery elements, a little dark humor, and plenty of gore. It had enough different things going to be interesting, and we were entertained.
Overall, I'd give it a thumbs up, yeah. Well, we see news reports about 7 college students being murdered at a music festival. They're arranged as the 7 deadly sins. The crime leads to a popular podcast series, a horror film, and even a TV series. And 20 years later, here we are, the music festival returns. But the killer is still at large. They never caught him. So, Colette narrates the trauma of being betrayed by a friend who then kills herself. 2 years later, Karma Palooza is the big thing on social media.
There's going to be karma.
Yep.
Climb up your palooza.
Uh-huh. We see various stereotypical horror movie characters in flashes. Sarah is one of them. She's Colette's friend, the one that killed herself. Liv shows up, and the pair go to the festival. They pick up Will, Guy, and LB on the way. Aaron works at a food store, pharmacy, and he has to work. It wasn't an actual pharmacy. It was a food store with a pharmacy, right? Because
I guess.
yeah, because he gets pressured. One of the guys keeps pressuring him.
Bring us some drugs.
Bring us drugs. And it's like, I just work here. I can't just take drugs. But, he finds a way. Well, he says he might come later. Mona shows up, and she's a really self-absorbed influencer.
It seems like all the movies anymore have an influencer character.
Yeah, it's a heavy thing. Yeah.
I wonder what percentage of the actual population are influencers. A lot in horror movies.
They want us to think so. Yeah. Rick, Mona's agent, calls and likes Liv and Sarah. Well, suddenly the tire blows out. They have to stop the van. A cop stops, and everyone scrambles to hide their drugs. LB shoves his cocaine up his butt, but Guy is fine with his huge bag of weed. The cop explains that you need a place to stay tonight since the repair shop might take some time, and the whole group piles into the police car and heads into the only B&B available in the area.
LB tries to hide this great big bag of pot, and he drops it at the cop's feet, and the cop looks at it and says, that's legal here. It's a joke.
Mm-hmm.
Would a quantity that large be legal? Most states have like a limit.
It's really pushing it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was for the joke.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was an excessive amount. Yeah. Yeah, it's very, very convenient. One of the gals looks online like, I got to find a place to stay the night, and it's this beautiful place that's available. Like, oh, what luck! And the cop takes them over there. Yeah, easy peasy. Inside the place, they find 7 Deadly Sins shot glasses. And there's something on the TV about the sins as well, coincidentally.
Subtle.
Yeah. Well, they all discuss which character gets which sin glass. Sarah gets the last glass, Wrath.
See, normally in a movie like Seven, where you get the 7 Deadly Sins, the trick is to figure out how the people tie into the sins. Mm-hmm. They assign them here.
Yeah.
Here, you get Wrath. You get Gluttony.
You're sloth. Yeah, the lazy guy gets sloth.
Yeah, they assign it right there themselves. I'll pick this one. I'm a sloth. Okay.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Oh, I'm greedy. Yeah. Well, someone is watching the whole thing on their camera. They're being watched. And credits finally roll, 20 minutes in.
Wow.
Dang. And we hear a voiceover about the 7 Deadly Sins.
Subtle, subtle, subtle.
Very subtle here. Yeah. Well, should we talk more about it?
No, people die. People die.
Yeah, people get picked off. And there kind of ties in with the 7 Deadly Sins.
Amazing.
Yeah. But it has enough, it's not typical. There's enough twist and mystery and trying to figure out who's doing the killing. And overall, I liked it.
The film subtly mentions the 7 Deadly Sins about 19 times before the credits even roll. So we made a wild guess that they would affect the plot somehow. Do you think young people don't even know what that is?
It's possible.
Yeah. Well, the 7 characters are all one-dimensional stereotypes anyway, so it's not a stretch. The killer's lair has a whole bunch of very elaborate death traps. Yeah, this would have taken ages to prepare and money to prepare.
They had both, though.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And JoJo Siwa, who plays Colette, got second billing for less than a minute of screen time. She's the one that kills herself in the opening.
Not much screen time at all there.
Yeah. That's a good contract. In the very first scene, we see Colette with Sarah, so there's really no surprise later. As we expected, the original serial killer to show up at some point, because this all happened 20 years ago.
20 years later, yeah. And this is, they're kind of copycatting the 20-year before murders.
Or is he?
Or are they?
Well, that didn't go the way we expected.
Yeah, which I liked. Because I was expecting something predictable there, and I don't think it was.
No.
Yeah.
The killer wears this digital mask with a face. Sometimes it's smiling, sometimes it's a symbol. It's kind of a neat prop.
Yeah, that was cool. Some
of the deaths are excessive, and there is some pretty good gore here.
Mm-hmm.
It's not terrible.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. Was entertained.
It's kind of a typical slasher movie, but it's got some interesting bits.
Mm-hmm.
All right, now our weird one for the week, Y2K. Directed by Kyle Mooney, Written by him and Evan Winter. Stars Jaden Martell, Rachel Ziegler, and Julian Dennison. Hour and 31 minutes. Trailer in the usual place. A couple times in the past year, we've praised Late Night with the Devil for really nailing the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
It was very accurate and authentic feeling, and this one does the same thing with 1999, but
in a cringe
it doesn't
way.
though.
It's
it
cringy.
Doesn't really though.
It definitely emphasizes the cringe of the 90s.
It's Cringe the movie.
And once upon a time in the 90s, for all you young folks that don't recall, they saw this problem coming with the year 2000. All these computers and everything, systems, electronics and everything that they had been programming for decades
had
since
two
the
digits
beginning
for the date.
had only 2 digits for the date. And so when the year 2000 was going to roll over, all these electronics and systems would have been totally confused, thought it was 1900 instead of 2000, or even not known what date it was at all. So they had to spend all kinds of time and effort going through all this code and fixing it to 4 digits instead of 2 digits. And that's really what the big deal was.
And it cost a ton of money, and everybody was panicking. The elevators are going to be falling out of the buildings, and the power grid's going to go down.
If they hadn't fixed it, it would have been awful. But they saw it coming, put the time and effort into it, and it wasn't that big of a deal.
I remember very little actual disruption.
Yeah.
Not much really happened.
Because they planned for it and saw it coming. And, they headed this off. But here's an alternate timeline where something else happened instead. Yeah. And like we said, it's kind of cringe the movie. We don't remember 1999 being that cringe, but it was somewhat, and maybe for some. But this is an alternate timeline where the Y2K bug was not only not fixed, but the machines turn deadly and take over. And it violates the laws of physics quite a bit, and they generally don't act like computers really act. It was a little heavy on parody, but it was okay. It was kind of a fun movie.
I would call this almost more of a comedy than horror.
Yeah, very comedy.
It's got some violence and
violent comedy. But yeah, that dark humor is there for sure.
I mean, I don't know that there's anything in here 90s-wise that's inaccurate. It all seems chronologically,
It's selective, though.
They only picked the cringiest bits.
It seemed like it, yeah. Really, as someone who lived through it, it was not this cringy. Not as much as this movie is.
Well, we open on AOL, a CD burner, Real Player, Bill Clinton, and flying toasters. Yup, it's the 90s. Clinton talks about there being no great problems for Y2K due to all the work people have put in. Eli cuts in on his iMac, and a CD pops out. Credits roll. Well, Eli's parents talk to him about dating and kissing as he goes off to the New Year's Eve party. He goes over to Danny's house as Danny's mother does jazzercise. The two boys talk about the girls at school. Eli likes Laura, who's dating a community college student. Well, the two guys stop at a video store and look around. The guy working at the counter is Garrett, a weird stoner type, who lets them smoke pot in the back room. They find Laura at the convenience store, and they joke about the lack of flying cars. Oh, it's 2000. Where's our flying cars?
And it's 2025. Where's our flying cars? They're still not here.
She mentions that she broke up with Jonas. Laura's friends then rob the store. Eli and Danny decide to go to the party at Chris's house because Laura will be there too.
Oh, you betcha.
Well, they go to the party, and all the stereotypes are represented, only in 90s clothing.
Mm-hmm.
They put on Danny's favorite song, and he makes a fool of himself right away. No, the whole group sings along. I was expecting me to like the chubby nerd in the Spider-Man movies.
No, not exactly.
But he's actually popular in this
he's very
one.
popular, yeah.
Danny is clearly way more popular than Eli is, and they argue about it. Suddenly, the power goes crazy, and the dishwasher goes berserk. Y2K is real, jokes some bozo in the crowd. Upstairs, they find a dead body, killed by a ceiling fan blade. As the crowd argues about what to do, a toy car with a laptop on board drives in. It sets one of the guests on fire in the most hilarious way possible.
Didn't see that coming.
There's a sudden mass stampede as ejecting videotapes, microwave ovens, and blenders kill people. All the technology in the house goes berserk. Laura thinks it's some kind of computer virus. Which doesn't explain why a blender would attack someone.
Right. Blenders don't have that much computer in them. Yeah.
Eli says she's a coding whiz, which is unheard of for a girl. Whoa, the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
She wants to go to the old factory, where there's no technology there. Before they leave, the machine monster in the next room breaks through the door and kills Danny, much to our relief. Oh, I did not like Danny a bit. And he's supposed to be a good guy.
Yeah, he was.
Well, the group makes it out to the street and sees two jetliners crash in midair. So it's not just happening at Chris's house. The murder robot then follows them out of the house and down the street.
Do you remember the movie Maximum Overdrive?
With the trucks?
With the trucks.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I thought this had the element of that, too.
Yeah, it
where
did.
All the technology turns killer.
Things that should not be alive suddenly become alive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, well, going down to the commentary part, who knew that we'd be seeing the year 2000 done as a retro story?
And as a horror movie. Yeah. Wasn't expecting that.
You know, this...
It has been 25 years.
Yeah, this is like when we were born watching World War II movies, and it seemed like it was so long ago.
Mm-hmm.
Because they've had the same distance in time.
Yeah.
Well, we are officially old now.
Mm-hmm.
There are so many jokes about Enron, AOL, and other cringy dated stuff.
Lots of nostalgia here.
There's a lot of it, and maybe it's a little over the top.
Mm-hmm.
I was there in the 90s, and it wasn't this cringy, really.
No.
It's all more comedic here than horrific.
Mm-hmm. But it's still horrific, too. There's a good body count.
So Y2K happens, and suddenly there's this giant murder robot in the kitchen or whatever. Where'd that come from? It just assembled itself.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
The wires and stuff are moving on their own. You can see the wires doing like stop motion, squiggling around, making things.
Computer viruses don't make wires move around by themselves.
No, they do not.
At least not so far.
I thought the casting here was pretty weak. Jaden Martell as Eli is way too wishy-washy to be an interesting leading character, and looks like he's about to cry in every scene.
Okay, it wasn't that bad.
I call him Dollar Store Harry Potter.
There was a resemblance
there, yeah.
Yeah, I thought he was okay in the role.
I did not.
Okay.
Julian Dennison as Danny is annoying in every single scene, but that's probably intentional since all the characters are obnoxious in their own ways.
Yeah, I think they were playing that up. Yeah.
Because people in the 90s were cringy too. It's a silly film that could have been great with a better cast, maybe just a little less parody.
Maybe.
It's a comedy. I would not even call this horror. It's a comedy with some violence. You're amending your review.
I'm amending my comment. Yeah.
It sucks.
No. No, I didn't think it sucked.
Okay.
I enjoyed it overall.
Hey, it's time for some short films.
Really, with the exception of the Mousetrap, I would give these at least a moderate thumbs up.
I liked Exhuma.
I loved Exhuma. Yeah, that was my favorite of the week for sure.
Most of the others did make me sick.
Okay.
We both give a strong thumbs up to Exhuma.
Yeah.
Exhuma. Not eczema. That's
right.
just
Eczema is a skin disease, yeah. Exhuma.
All right, so let's change the channel here and watch some short films.
Okay.
We will start with The Little Girl Eater from 2023, directed by Tizian Herzberger, written by Tizian Herzberger and Septimus Dale. Stars Siegbert Patcher, Jacob King, Maya Bloom, and Penelope Kettle. 12 minutes, and you can watch this one on YouTube. Tizian and Septimus.
Awesome.
This must be a foreign movie.
Mm-hmm. Well, Mom and her boyfriend want to have some alone playtime in the car. So they let little 8-year-old Miranda out to play alone on the cold, isolated beach. Well, Miranda's on board with it. She wants to go out to the beach. And they're like, yeah, you go. Yep. And we'll just, we'll hang out here. Yeah. Well, what could go wrong? We soon see. Miranda finds an injured man in need of help. Or is he?
What is going on here?
Yeah, well, we do find out, and it's kind of tragic.
It's beautifully shot and paced extremely well. The real villains here are obviously the parents, and you have to be careful what you say to kids.
And how you listen to them, and how do you respond to them. Yeah. Yeah, this was good.
Don't let your kid wander around an isolated, abandoned, British beach, or is Australia. Where was this? Do you remember?
I don't remember exactly. No.
Okay.
But
they're crap parents that abandon their kid.
Well, and then they don't listen to her when she comes back telling them, something. And
Yeah.
yeah, you got to see this one. Yeah, I thought it was really good.
Short film, Behind You, directed by Brian Hancock and Brody Scott, stars Brooks Hoffman and Delaney Hoffman. Brother and sister, I assume. 7 minutes, and you can watch it on YouTube. Well, a brother and a sister sit in bed and watch TV as friends gather outside. They all want inside. When the friends come inside, they see that something terrible has happened. We then flash back a couple minutes and see what actually happened here.
Yeah, that was neat how they did that.
Yeah.
The guy outside.
We see the
leaves
ending, and then we
yeah.
see the middle, and we see...
Yeah, and then we see what happened, yeah.
Well,
Don't blink.
yeah. If
Yeah.
you're a Doctor Who fan,
Yeah.
you'll know what that's about.
And this was one where the budget had to be mostly non-existent, but the shadow creatures are really well executed and effective. We
Yeah.
thought. Yeah.
Yeah.
Music and audio are well done, and it's one of those where even though it's dark, you can see what's happening. We like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was a nice one.
Well, there's black shadow creatures, and you can't see them in the dark, but when you are supposed to see them, you do.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. And again, like you said, this had to have cost like nothing.
Yeah.
But it's well done. Yeah, give this one a look.
Mm-hmm.
And then we go to Flesh and Blood, directed by Paul Volay, written by Paul Volay and Joshua Rodriguez, stars Tyler Webster, Bo Roche, Jill Anderson, and Drew Patterson. A little over 16 minutes, so it's kind of a longer one.
This was actually my favorite of the week, of the shorts. Zid is close.
I like Zit best, but this
Okay.
is very good too. They're both very good.
Uh-huh. Well, the police have taken a young man into custody, and as the story progresses, we see what he's done and why. He recounts his day and what led to him murdering his well-known and respected parents. Maybe there was more going on here than the results would imply.
Yeah. Unlike Rebecca in the Mousetrap, this whole police interview thing is actually effective.
Yeah, it is. Scariest part was Dad's milk mustache, wasn't it?
You noticed it, didn't you?
That was something, yeah. And people with alliterative names are evil. So that much is true.
Why do you want to kill them? Well, their name's alliterative.
Yeah, that's reason enough. Yeah. We know from the beginning what Terrence did, but not why or how. And as we get into the details of his family life, it all becomes very clear. As the story unfolds, yeah, it's very interesting. Looks good. Yeah. Like this one a lot.
Murder Family.
Uh-huh.
All right. Then we have a contest film, Little Devil Peak. Written and directed by Jeff Faulkner, stars Natalie Sampson, Anita Cannon, and Sale Kenny, along with Chris Will, and it's a little under 9 minutes. Well, a woman goes out camping alone, and we quickly learn that she's a morning radio personality. She seems to only talk in radio voice.
Yeah.
There's a couple out camping who cross her path a few times, and they are wildly incompetent campers. They keep arguing about this frying pan.
He wants his frying pan alone.
I need my eggs for breakfast.
Yeah.
Their inability to pack may turn out to be the least of their problems, however, since they're being stalked by a monster. Well, this was kind of cool because it was created for the 2024 Seattle 48-hour film horror project. Teams in Seattle had 48 hours to write, shoot, edit, score, and turn in a 7-minute short film. That's a lot for 48 hours.
At least 7 minutes, yeah. Uh-huh.
And it had to have a character named Ellie Parker, who was a radio station employee. It had to have a prop of a frying pan. There was a specific line of dialogue. You're not going to like this. And it had to be a genre of a monster or a creature or found footage film. And they did it.
Yeah, they did a nice job with it.
And they did a good job with it, too. It's funny, concise, and shows us everything we need. Excellent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I liked this one even before I found out what the catch was with the contest.
Yeah, that was impressive.
Now I want to see the other entries.
Yeah.
And then our last one for the week is called Zit. And this is my favorite. I think it was just hilarious.
She's having a really bad day.
Written and directed by Amber Newcomb, stars Hannah Aline, Daniel Anone, and Regina Ting Chen. Little under 11 minutes. Well, what happens?
Well, Gertrude is the office manager, and she wants a promotion. And she's psyching herself up for it. She's even prepared a paper listing her benefits and talents. And she's ready to talk to the boss. Except just as she's finally ready, she spots a zit right in the middle of her forehead.
Just a little white pimple right in the middle. Just a little one.
What can you do about it?
Well. Well.
Anyone who's prepared or worried over a talk with the boss knows this feeling, except they take it to the extreme here. Gertrude just takes it a little further than most of us ever have. The special effects and gore are fine, but the main draw of the short film is, her and her reactions, and it's really laugh-filled from the start to the end.
Yeah.
Gross and laugh-filled. She's just perfect in the role and the people that she encounters, and it was excellent.
Yeah, very good. Hey, we're all out of movies.
We're all out of movies.
We need to watch more for next week. And we will. Next week we'll have 5 more movies and 5 more shorts. And I'll bet some of them will be good and some of them probably won't.
Yep.
That's what it usually works with us.
That's usually how it works, yeah.
Old and new.
And we'll have some to really recommend and some say, yeah.
I hated this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah. We save you all this time, see. You know which ones to watch and which
That's
ones to
the whole
avoid.
point. Yeah, which ones are good and which ones you aren't.
Yeah.
And if you want to read we don't spoil them anymore. If you do want to read the full spoilers, stop in over at horrorweekly.com, and all these movies are there with the complete spoilery synopsis, so you can read them from beginning to end. If you want to know what happens in the mousetrap without actually wasting your time, just go there and read it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Perfect.
While you're there, sign up and get the weekly email for free. It comes right in your email box, and it's got the full text of everything, along with a link to the podcast, so you won't miss an episode.
What a deal.
Yeah, it's
all that for free?
All that for free.
Nice.
All right, well, I'm Brian.
And I'm Kevin.
And we'll see you next week.
See ya.